Hello, my friends. Well, here I am the day after I lost my cat Sasha. And of course, there's a lot of reflections that we go through and deep feelings and memories and stuff. And I'm sure everybody knows about it because we have all lost somebody we love many times more than once. And I would say it has been an incredibly beautiful process for me to take this time with her, probably last 3 months. I was told by the vet about 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago, that, I should probably put her down soon. And so I went home and I just felt into it and I just really felt like, no, she's not ready. And I really, really monitored her very closely because I do not want anybody to suffer. And then just briefly, I heard about this product from a friend, a natural product that so many people have incredible experiences and healings with. So I thought, you know what? What can it hurt? And what I was hoping for was that the itching, she was itching like crazy, whatever she was, diagnosed with might have caused that. And I thought, my God, if she can just pass on without that, then at least she can just relax into it. So I got the product. I actually drove almost an hour to get it so I could start on it right away before I could order it. So long story short, I got her on this product, and within a week, the itching was gone. Her ear infection that she'd had for years was gone. Um, Several weeks later, she started getting more interested in life a little more. She stopped vomiting. Her constipation went away. And then, probably a month and a half into it, she started eating. I could just feed her a little bit every day, mostly raw liver. That was her favorite, but just enough, to keep her going. And then her appetite came back like nobody's business. It was amazing. So from being like this total skin and bone, concave, she started actually filling out again. And I kept wondering, is she going to make it? Is it going to turn everything around? But I was just watching it. I was not really expecting it, but I noticed that I was open to that possibility. But in the end, her kidneys took her out, and I don't know what happened. She had tumors, is basically, and that's why she wouldn't eat. So I don't know what happened, but I do know one thing. That gave us almost 3 months of the most incredible love, sweetness, and connection. And she got really thin, and it was just so precious, so precious. So it almost like our deep bond got even deeper and sweeter. But it was her time, and that's okay. We all have our time to leave, even though it's never easy. But here are my reflections, just the day after, where I I realized so deeply that the love that we shared is of course something we experience. I experience inside of myself. And after I put her body in the ground yesterday, instead of having her in my living room so I could still talk to her and touch her and kiss her. And then and I just noticed, like, wow, soon I cannot hold her, touch her, kiss her, the way I have done for so long. And and then I was thinking, my God, who am I gonna give 1,000 kisses a day to? Maybe that's a little exaggerated, but I still have my other cat, so he gets plenty, and I do have an outlet for it. But the realization is clearly to me that, when we are with somebody we love, we have an outlet for the love that we are. And we need an outlet for that love. That doesn't have to mean that we give 1,000 kisses, but You know, for me, it seems like that with my cats. I just adore them. I'm a total cat mama, and I'm sure a lot of you are here also. So, in one way, it has nothing to do with the other, except the experience we have inside when we are with them or when we think about them. It's an inner experience. I remember many years ago when I broke up, a relationship I was in ended. And that's when I really realized that it was not him that I missed, but it was the feelings that I felt when I was with him. And that was quite a realization actually that it's so internal and so deep and so personal in a way. And in that it doesn't have anything to do with anybody else except that being with them evokes that in us, in me. So of course, there's a reason that we're not here on our own, that it might be in the really bigger picture that, of course, the divine, which is one, wanted to experience itself as more than one. And for me, it makes sense that this oneness wants to experience what it is to receive the love that the oneness is. And that's why we are able to share that love with somebody, because I really, really feel that we all need an outlet for that love. Is if we don't have an outlet, it can kind of get stifled and stagnant inside. And then, with animals, my goodness, they are so easy to love for the most part, and it is safe to love them. Very different than with human beings from that most of us have experienced. I know there are, of course, relationships that are just pure love, and that's how it should be and could be the day that when we start letting go of this false identity that feels separate from the one. But when I have received, when I have been with my cats, my heart is just completely a big outpouring of love. And that is what feels so good. And then I can be grateful that I have these beautiful animals where it is safe for me to share that love, and it is safe for me to receive it back because there are no conditions on it. It is pure, unconditional love. That is what we all long for, and that is what we all are. No exception. However, our childhood is, if we are not receiving that unconditional love so that we can instigate or activate that unconditional love that we are, it might just sit there dormant. And we might, protect ourselves because we have never received it in the world and we may not even know what it is. And in that way, we may also shield ourselves from God's love. I have been guilty, that sounds like a bad word, but I have certainly done that in my life. And it's been an ongoing process to open up to receive that love from the divine, from my own soul. And as long as we can have these animals, and of course, there's more than, and there's children and parents and lovers and friends where it is free flowing. Thank God. But for those of us who have felt more shut down, maybe, animals are incredible. They're such loving gifts for us to open up our hearts, to give and to receive. And the more we're able to do that, and the more we're able to see that this is actually our own love, it's coming from our own soul. And in that sense, it doesn't have anything to do with anything outside, except, as an as an activator, as long as we need that. But more and more, because of that, we can start realizing and experiencing that this love is who we are, with or without an external expression. The external expression will come naturally, but does not have to be focused on one animal, one person, or one whatever. It can be, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But generally, it is our own love that starts expressing unhindered, without that protection, where it can just flow, even to those who may not treat us well. We don't have to give them 1,000 kisses. Keep that for your very deepest beloveds where it's safe. But there is really no reason when we have tapped into our own love that we can really share that with anybody in the world without necessarily a specific gesture, unless that comes naturally with that outpouring. So, what am I saying? I think I want to say that I'm very grateful that I have these little love agents and angels outside to remind me to open up my heart to love, to receive love, and to keep opening up to it in myself. Does this have to do with self-love? It has everything to do with self-love, but not as a concept or something we do, more as a dissolving and letting go of the places where we have stopped this flow. And there, conscious self-love, where we consciously start loving the parts that we have excluded ourselves to either giving or receiving, those parts we can actively give love to, so they can start softening, so the love can start flowing more freely. And this has completely been my own process. That's why I've talked so much about self-love over the years. But eventually, when all these barriers just start dissolving because we meet them with love, the love just starts flowing naturally. And then we may not need an external projection, but I certainly don't mind them forever on. And then there, in my case, like, who am I going to give my 1,000 kisses to? It doesn't have to be physical kisses, but it can be just energetic kisses to everything in myself and everything around me. And I do remember right now that when I had my big spiritual awakening back in the late 80s, that lasted several months. I literally walked around holding myself, like energetically, because just holding myself in such deep love. It was just incredible, and it was not something I was doing. So I do know from that experience that that is here, that's available, that is given to us as we start opening up to that love and share that also inside of ourselves. And I'm not talking about this as some kind of a new age concept or something. I talk about it from my own direct experience, where it just happens naturally. And of course, that was when I was giving this huge awakening where, the light and the love just poured in like I'd never experienced before. And it lasted for 2, 3 months. So I do have a deep experience, and then it went away. That was not fun. But the more we realize that, the more we dissolve the parts of us that get in the way of being that all the time. And I had plenty of layers. Oh my goodness. It's like that's when my inner work began. So it's been an excavating of all that resistance to love, to give love, receive love, love myself. And then the softening and the love just naturally start pouring out and in. So that was a little reflection after my little kitty passed. And she definitely is right here. Now that she's in the ground, I can completely feel her here every time I think of her. And we just always connected. And what I'm feeling, of course, is the love that I am. So there's more lessons from Sasha as I keep moving on. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for your sweet comments also yesterday, and for sharing this journey with me. Have a great day.